What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to my top 10 campaigns of 2021. This is looking back throughout the whole year and me just talking about the best campaigns that I saw. Now, that's for a multitude of reasons. There's a lot of personal opinion in there, of course, as always, but let's go ahead and discuss. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members for their financial support. It is through their support that this channel is possible. And it's because this is a community-driven channel where I make videos for you guys, where I can cover the videos I want to cover, the way I want to cover them. And it's because I have the financial independence to do so because of that money that I can count on from them, so that I don't have to just only go for sponsors or just only go for ad revenue. So I'm not just covering the most popular stuff or anything like that. Instead, I'm free to do exactly what I want to do. If you appreciate that level of freedom and the videos that I produce, there is a link down below. Thank you so much. Additionally, my fundraiser is going on. There are a ton of different games available. You guys can go ahead and take a look on here. There's a link down below to this. This has been going quite well. It's been going amazing. Your guys' support and outreach is honestly appreciated and will make for a wonderful 2022. So there's a ton here. I'm going to link down below. You guys can take a look. There are some great games for grabs, some all-ins, some amazing stuff. Definitely check it out. Now, before we get into the video proper, I do want to thank my sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is a service that I actually pay for and believe in, and I want to share it with you guys. There is a link down below. The first 1,000 people to click that link in the description, also pinned in the comments, will get a free 1-month trial to Skillshare Premium. That gives you the membership that you need to be able to learn anything you could possibly want to learn. Seriously, guys, just earlier, I wanted to make something for my family. The holidays have been around, family's been coming over. I wanted to make a dessert. I figured that'd be kind of cool. What did I do? I went to Skillshare, and that's because Skillshare is all about the education part of it. So you bypass a lot of the other internet stuff. There's no catchy memes. There's no supercuts. There's no silliness. There's no asking for subscribers or anything like that. Just the sharing of knowledge from somebody who knows what they're talking about and then is trying to convey that to you. It is invaluable. I was going through this and I actually paused it. I've watched every single minute of this so far though, and it's been fantastic. And he takes you everything from like a tiramisu. This is Grant Batty, by the way, for quick and easy desserts, a beginner's guide to baking. Fantastic, highly recommended. And of course, there was a ton of stuff the moment I searched for cooking or baking or desserts or anything like that. Always pleased with the selection, but he has some great knowledge to share. Little things like if you're making a brownie with ice cream, put your thumb in there, put a little indent in the middle so that the ice cream doesn't slide off when you put it on there. Little stuff like that I would have never even thought of, but somebody who's actually done this every day can teach you it very well. That's what Skillshare is all about. So again, there is a link down below. The first 1,000 people only that click that will get that free 1-month trial, and trust me, it's a membership well worth keeping too. I do it myself. So anyway, thank you Skillshare for sponsoring. Be sure to click that link to support the channel and also to learn something new maybe. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now, this is in no particular order. I'm not doing an order here. This was the number one. There are pros and cons to every single campaign. These are the top 10 standout ones to me that I really enjoyed. Anytime I find myself going and reading the updates or checking in every day, I know they're doing something right. Right? Some of it's interest level too. Of course, all of these will be of interest to me. I tend to not care too much about campaigns that don't interest me because I'm not going to fake anything here for you guys. I'd be like, oh, that was interesting. And I'm opinionated. I don't just like everything, which hopefully makes me a better reviewer. But anyway, okay, so Chronicles of Drunagar, Age of Darkness Apocalypse. This blew me away. So you had this game, right? This Chronicles of Drunagar game. And it's pretty good. It really is. Like, I really enjoyed it, though I played it with the expansions, and how the expansions were is like, you play a little bit of story. It's like, if you have the expansion, go do this. So you went on this, and it changed the monsters you were fighting, and kind of changed the pace of the thing, and you had a little mini story that was resolved, and so you got some resolution, and you got some new items, stuff like that, and then suddenly new enemies started appearing. So it was really nice. It kept things fresh, and they have like 2 or 3 of those throughout the campaign, so it makes it a lot better than I think a lot of people that just got the base game, I think, got a little bit tired of it. Either way, it was this very unassuming game. It didn't like blow the waters of funding or anything like that. And then this sucker came out, and they come out with these like Horsemen of the Apocalypse, insanely that almost 2 million raised, almost 6,500 backers. This is, hey, look, I'm right there. Look at that. That's me. Seriously though, actually, this all looks different. Are they able to? They must be able to change their page after funding on GameFound, I think, because I don't think it used to look like this. Regardless, they came out, like, doubled down on what was working, made improvements to what it needed. So, like, the story, really, really good. Really enjoyed that. There's some stuff to work around with that, but seriously, really good. But then these minis came out. These, like, freaking Apocalypse Horseman minis. Fan-freaking-tastic. These things are, like, insane. They are really, really cool. This is all completely changed. That's wild. Interesting. That's too bad I can't see the normal thing anymore. Either way, seriously though, it was very, very cool to see these things. It was just a cool setting, cool things. They had like pet classes, so they have a necromancer that has these like zombies that are kind of temporary stuff that pop up. Just really, really cool how they did that, and I enjoyed it immensely. All the unlocks, all the different scenario stuff, really, really cool. It was I enjoyed it so much I actually picked it to play with my patrons, so that was kind of fun. So yeah, anyway, it was an interesting experience to do that because I did it wrong, but that's on me. Okay, next up, Masters of the Universe Fields of Eternia. This is by the Archon Studio one, not the CMON one. The reason I liked this one, and the CMON one is not on here, by the way, is just because. So I find the CMON one really ugly. I actually backed it because I like One vs. Many. I'm hoping it's still a good game, but visually I found this one to be so much better. In fact, one of my quotes, I don't think they used it here, but it felt like playing a Saturday morning cartoon, which is exactly what I want from a Masters of the Universe game. That's what I want. And so the wacky scenarios that you're in, and the characters, and everything's so colorful and just so cartoonish and fun. And fun is probably the key there. I mean, you see these, and like each one of these is bright, and there's bright purples and color and like all these crazy things. And so I really enjoyed that part a lot. I really did. It just was kind of fun and silly. And the CMON one seemed to be a little bit more serious, and definitely a much more muted color palette, like by a lot. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And of course, they had all the deep cuts that you could ever want, right? More than, like, I'm not a huge Masters of the Universe fan. I was like, I'm okay with it, right? I watched it along with like Johnny Quest and stuff like that. I actually like Johnny Quest more. So like it just, they're different kinds of people. But this was such a blast to play. And more importantly, my kids really enjoyed playing it, and they have zero attachment to Masters of the Universe, and they loved it too. So just a lot of fun. It was an enjoyable game, great components. But for me, the big thing was just how fun that it was just fun to be a part of. It was fun to see the wacky stuff that they were going to unlock. It was fun to, learn more about the different mechanics and to just look at the different art and stuff. I really did enjoy this one a lot. There's not every time that a campaign I feel is fun, and this one was just plain fun. So anyway, that was that. Bummer, it's European only. Hopefully I can still manage to do a final review for you guys. I don't know if that's even possible, but it would be nice to, because, I already did the preview prototype, which was quite well put together. It would be great to see okay, here's everything together. Here's how it is. Try to do one of those final reviews for you guys. Next up, we have Forest of Radglass. This was also a ton of fun. Really did enjoy this one. The actual prototype is, I'm already smiling. One of the highlights for me for the prototypes, it just had so much character in it. And it was just so much love in that box.
It's a pretty rare experience to get something like that. And it was pretty great. All of my kids enjoyed it. They had a wonderful time reading all the stories and looking at the pictures. The art is gorgeous, by the way. Like really, really good. So, just enjoy, again, like you can see that art there. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It looks so good. But everything looks good. Even the time dial looks good and the map looks good, and just, it's a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing the final version of it. But I must say, this was a treat. It really was. And so seeing it not only be successful, but seeing them unlock stuff like that was also very good. It's nice when Kickstarter is like used like Kickstarter, when it's this indie thing, this passion project, of kind of a more niche thing traditionally. Not a lot of people go into the Slavic stuff. I think for miniatures and miniature lovers, we get a lot of that kind of stuff. But for a board game, it's not exactly zombies or superheroes or anything like that. So it was great to see all that. It really was. What a really, really fun campaign. I enjoyed that one a lot. Speaking of enjoying, and you might see a commonality here. Monsterpocalypse, the board game, definitely on here as well. Just fun. I am saying fun a lot, but I like having fun. It's why I play board games. I'm not trying to like solve a Sudoku puzzle. I'm not trying to, do some even brain exercises. I mean, I want to think. I want to be strategic, but more importantly, I just want to have fun. And these campaigns can be a lot of fun too. Monsterpocalypse was a blast, even though you could look on Privateer Press's website and see everything that was going to come out. It was just so much fun to read their kind of updates about these different wacky factions and these different enemies, and talk about pairing them up with buildings and all that. And so I got a prototype copy of this and I played it, and me and my son enjoyed it quite a bit. And that was like baby's first Monsterpocalypse. It gets so much more, especially with all the different buildings. So this was just, again, it's a fun theme. They all look cool. There is pretty much no mini here that I don't want to paint, which is a good thing. That doesn't happen all the time. So that was a lot of fun. It was great. I checked every single day on, okay, what's new on Monsterpocalypse? What's unlocking? What are they talking about now? And it was a lot of fun. It really was. I enjoyed that one. Next up, Teneris RPG 5e. This was interesting just because, to me, I was fascinated by it. First of all, it did fantastic. 9,400 backers, over 2 million raised. That is, for a non-IP game, thank you very much. There's no Marvel slapping on here. There's no Resident Evil. There's no anything here except a world and an IP that is owned by Drugori Games that they have invested in. It's another third campaign they've done for that. And I think that's really cool. Anytime you're not doing a one and done thing, that's awesome. It means that when I back this, I know it's going to be supported. And I think people are picking up on that. But this could have gone so badly. Anytime you get two different things, right? There, the hard part is you now have backers that only care about one of those two things. You see that a lot when you have a board games with a miniature line, because there are people that are only there for the miniatures and don't care about the board game, people that are only there for the board game and could care less about the miniature line. And so you have this here with this too, or at least potentially, where you have people that only care about the RPG, people that only care about the board game. And then you have to support past backers and benefit them and have stuff for them. It can get way confusing, way quick, and there are so many ways to do it wrong. But I think they did a great job. I'm sorry about my voice, by the way. So it was all laid out quite well. They kind of knew what they were doing. They introduced people over time, which was awesome. So it wasn't like all in your face all at once. Obviously, the minis and everything like that are fantastic. They've done a great job with all that. There's a lot of options, but it was very clear, and they definitely even, they titled it exactly what your use case is. Like, hey, do you want everything, and are you returning backer? Bam, there you go. Do you want just the board game stuff? Well, bam, here you go. And so it was really nice to see that. See, they have the RPG minis, board games, so complex by nature. But I think they did a great job on it, and it was a lot of fun. Also, I don't play tabletop RPGs. I actually like the structure of the board game. I don't really like the open-endedness of the RPG side, so it hasn't ever really appealed to me too much. And I'm not much of a role player. if that makes sense as well. And I know you don't have to get into it a whole lot there. It's just, there's enough things that are just like, I just don't care for it. Not for me. I love RPG books. Like the actual books that you get to open up and read. I've read the Time of Legends ones. I've read the Mythic Battles one. I'll probably read the Conan one. I'll definitely read the Snares one. I love just immersing myself in the stories and in the setting and in the lore and stuff like that. I think they make fantastic like nerd books to put on like a coffee table or something like that, because you can open it up and like I learned so much about like European history in that Time of Legend one. Like it was a fun way to learn, because then you're also learning about the stats of like the devil, so it's like, what the heck. But no, seriously, this really cool, really well done, really cool new stuff. They got this reminds me of like trying to figure out what version of back of a video game. You know, it's like, do I want the super ultra mega deluxe edition Best Buy only copy? No, you don't need that. But here's what it comes with, right? They always have these charts like that. Anyway, a lot of fun. That one was a blast. Next up, we have The Witcher Old World. This was another one that was really cool to me. So for a few reasons. Obviously, the stuff they unlocked was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. The expansions that they were tactfully done. There was a potential for a bad case here, right? So there was some turmoil about male-only Witchers. Now, I'm not going to get into the lore or the IP or being an IP game, which means you need approval from another company that you're kind of add to their mercy when it comes to what you're allowed to put in your game or what you're allowed to say about your game and all that kind of stuff. So like, I don't want to ever pressure a company that's under a license just because they're ultimately not actually the ones in charge. When it comes to the final say so. That is the IP owners, right? So there's that. And of course, there's a whole lot more there. I'm not getting into that. But just me stumbling through that shows how dangerous of a reaction you can have to that as a company. And I thought they handled it quite well. So they came out with the sorceresses, right? And added a support to that. And they put a lot of effort into it too. I thought that was awesome. I thought it was really cool. I don't think you need it in the game at all. I didn't actually add it to my pledge. But it's cool that they did that for people who did want that. Or just to benefit everybody. Because now everybody gets a cool expansion with a whole bunch of like magic using chicks. So that's awesome. The minis, of course, are super cool. The theme is super cool. I really enjoyed the card combat, getting these there on the map. There was quite a few map campaigns this year, but anything that adds a little bit more oomph to it, like this card combat, very much appreciate myself, because I'm not the biggest fan of that genre. So anything more you can give me, like a very cool theme with some cool minis and some cool card combat. Okay, now we're talking. Now I'm interested. So yeah, they had a whole bunch of unlocks. Obviously, it was a big game. They added the Mages expansion here. Super cool that they did that. I think just overall really enjoyed the campaign. All right, next up we have Mythic Battles Ragnarok. How could I not mention Mythic Battles? I mean, you guys knew this was going to be on the list. Guys, I am a huge fan of Norse. I said this a long time ago. I love Mythic Battles Pantheon. It's a fantastic game. I have everything for it pretty much, as to where I have a huge selection. I can theory craft all kinds of different groups and stuff like that. The expansions actually add different things. Sometimes you're getting, like items and like a progression campaign thing. Sometimes it's just adding like a whole bunch of like water stuff. Like there's the expansions were done well. It was just a well done game. And I like the Greek stuff too. I was a big fan of Age of Mythology, the video game, if you've ever played that, stuff like that. So I dig it. However, I actually like Norse more. Now, my wife likes Egyptian more, so we are in for a treat. We're going to have way too much Mythic Battle stuff in this household, but we're going to love it. But either way, once they got into the Norse stuff, I was like, okay, yep, I love it all. Like, all of this is good. They did a great job. And again, they listened to feedback as well. So there was some issue with like Loki, the sculpt of Loki people didn't like. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll update it. We'll change it. So a ton of unlocks, a ton of fun stuff, a ton of interaction and listening to feedback and stuff like that. Just some really, really cool stuff. I like that it's the game, but they're not just releasing new units. just like mindlessly. Like they not only do they act uniquely, but they even added to the game with like troop upgrades and stuff like that, which is cool. And so they're very much changing how the runes, the divine runes that you get here, or like the Umphalos in the Greek, but how they act differently too, stuff like that. Just really impressed with how they followed up a big campaign with one like this to do very well there. And like I said, I love the theme. So there's that too. Next up, Primal the Awakening. This one was way back, early 2021. But believe it or not, I mean, I know COVID makes everything seem long, but this was a blast as well. As you can see, I got the gameplay on. I was like all about this. It's a fun game. Quality minis. Oh look, hey, there I am again. I love just about every part of this game. I don't remember saying that. You know, I'm unscripted, and so I just kind of say what I feel, and apparently that's how I felt. Ditto. I still stand by that. I love just about every part of this game. It was a lot of fun. There are some games where you can have to step back from as a reviewer, right, to kind of make sure you're being critical. And this was one of those where I kind of had to step back and be like, okay, am I actually being critical here? And not everybody reviews that way, but that's how I do, because I don't want to just like review hype, right? And I think especially fresh off of a great experience, you can do that as well. So sometimes it helps to cool it down a little bit. But you also like, if you are if you have a high after playing the game, that's good to communicate too. Like, so it's still important to capture that, hey, this game hyped me up, right? So it's a balance, but this was definitely one where I had to kind of take a look like, okay, I really enjoyed this. How was this bad? Right? You're gonna have to, okay, let's think about it. You know, like, oh, okay, well, this and this. And then, of course, no game's perfect, and that's fine too, but that's just the game. Campaign-wise, one of the best things I think they did, and one of the things that stood out to me, besides having some really cool freaking expansions and unlocks and stuff like that, was there was a potential to do bad communication here, because one of the things that Primal definitely does not focus on is story. It's there. I don't try to make it sound like it's terrible. It's just not why you play Primal. You play Primal for the crafting, for the loot grind, for the boss fights. That's why you play Primal. And the story is just there to string it all together. And that's a conscious decision. And it's one I think they communicated quite well, so that people are going to get the game and I think still enjoy it. The last thing you want to do is have a whole bunch of backers, which is great, until they then get the product, don't like it because you didn't communicate it well enough to where they thought they would like it, but they didn't. And then they just talk bad about your company, about the product, and try and sell it real quick. Like, that's no good for nobody. Like, you don't want those backers to begin with. You want backers that are happy to be backers. And I think they did a great job on that. So, yeah, definitely a highlight there. And of course, we have Harakiri. This was a wild ride. So, first of all, it was one of those things where right at the very end, right? It's like coming down to the wire. And it's like, oh, will they unlock the freaking Shogun mini? He's right down there. And the answer is yes, they did unlock him. So, very cool that they did. Again, I really liked everything about the theme here. So, like, I really wanted the stretch goal. I wanted all the stretch goals. Just a lot of, anytime every single update, like, gets me kind of pumped. Like, oh, I can't wait to fight that. Oh, I can't wait to interact with that. Oh, I can't wait to see that mini. Oh, I can't wait to do this story. That's a good thing, right? And that's what I found myself doing with Harakiri. I was thinking about the dungeon crawl, and I was thinking about these enemies. I was like, oh man, I bet, like how does that genie work coming out of the box? And then of course it's so unique. Everything looks so cool. That helps too, of course. Yeah, I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. And then finally, Resident Evil, the board game. This one had a ton of votes, a ton of interaction with the community. So they did a story. They chose who survived and who didn't. And it was a very smart way to run the campaign within theme of the game that you're making, which I thought was super cool to do. And I enjoyed actually looking to see what was unlocked. Just because it was kind of cool to see, oh, no, okay, that guy died, or, oh, no, we got the super version of this guy, or, oh, finally Wesker was added, all that kind of stuff. So just, again, another enjoyable enjoyable campaign. And honestly, there was more than 10 that I enjoyed. I enjoyed quite a few this year. So I would love to know what your top ones are. And I think it's important to make a list like that. So feel free to share, because it makes you think about why you liked it. Like, what made this campaign stand out to you? And knowing that, I think, will help you fight hype, fight FOMO. It'll help you be more aware of giving good feedback. If something isn't grabbing your attention or something could be better, you might know how it could be better, not just that it could, which is usually beneficial. There's a lot of good involved there. So feel free to share that list. I would love to see what you guys are interested in anyway. And with that, I will go and let you guys go. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Bye, guys.